Welcome back to my channel. I'm Carol Isaac. Be fearless, be shameless, and create your own environment. Today we're going to talk about stop waiting on God. God is waiting on you. That sounds controversial, right? I know it sounds controversial, but I've been thinking most of the time we've been always, even me included, sometime keep saying I'm waiting on God instead of us taking the first step, taking the action. We always keep saying that I'm waiting on God. And the word of God says that faith without actions is dead. I want us to look at some few characters, uh, two characters in the Bible, and we're going to see why I'm saying stop waiting on God. God is waiting on you. And the first character you're going to look at is from the book of Mark chapter 5, from verse 25. And the word of God, it's a story that you all know. We've heard about it more than 1,000 times, but there's something that I want us to get from this story, from the book of Mark chapter 5, verses 25. From verse 25, it says, "And there was a woman who had a discharge of blood for 12 years, and who had suffered much under many physicians, and spent all that she had, and was not better, but grew worse. She had heard the reports about Jesus, and came up behind him in the crowd and touched his garment. For she said, 'If I touch even his garments, I will be made well.' And immediately the flow of blood dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of her disease. And Jesus, perceiving in himself that power had gone out from him, immediately turned about in the crowd and said, 'Who touched my garments?' And his disciples said to him, 'You see the crowd pressing around you, and yet you ask, Who touched you?' And he looked around to see who had done it. But the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came in fear and trembling, and fell down before him, and told him the whole truth, and said to her, and Jesus said to her, 'Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your disease.'" The background of this woman, as we just read from verse 25, is that she had had an issue of blood for 12 good years. 12 years is not a short period of time, and she had spent all her money, all her wealth, all that she had on other doctors, but the Bible records that her issue grew worse instead of becoming better. And one day she heard that Jesus was around. She heard about the reports of Jesus, how Jesus had healed people, and she had decided, and she made up her mind that I'm going to follow Jesus, and if only I touch a hem of his garment, I'm going to be whole. One thing that I want you to know about this woman, during those days, when a woman had an issue of blood, she was seen as unclean, and she was not supposed to mingle with people. So this woman decided in her mind intentionally that I'm going to follow Jesus until I touch the hem of his garment, and I know I'm going to be whole. So what this woman did, she did not regard that rule that when she's on her menses, or when she's in blood, she's not supposed to come near the crowd. This woman broke that rule. There are times that you need to take their actions, and you don't have to follow things that have been running in your family or in your life, or maybe the protocol that you have to do this and do this. But when it comes to your destiny, when it comes to your life, when it's a matter of life and death, you don't have to consult, you have to go for it. So if you are there and there's something that you really need, you don't have to wait that somebody, maybe you're waiting for an uncle to help you look for that job. You want to start a business. Start with what you have. You know what this woman did? She said, I'm not going to stay here. I'm not going to start to keep complaining. After all, for 12 years, I'm the one who has been bleeding. And I'm the one who feels how it is to bleed for 12 years. And I believe this woman was thinking. So she made that decision that I'm going to touch the hem of the garment of Jesus. One thing she did, she believed in Jesus. She had faith in God. Then something else that she did, she was ready to face the consequences. It was not an easy job for her to follow Jesus in the crowd and to press herself in the midst of the crowd to be able to touch the hem of the garment of Jesus. And see what Jesus said. It's an amazing thing. That, daughter, your faith has made you well. So your faith is going to make you well. Your faith is going to change your life. Your faith is going to make things that seem as if they are not moving to start moving. That if only you make that first step. Stop waiting on God. God is waiting on you. And let me surprise you today. If that woman would have not taken that step of following Jesus, I know she would not have been healed. Because Jesus was not in the business of going checking who is sick that I may heal them. But this woman made an intentional decision, and it was non-negotiable. That time she did not want to know, because that rule that because you have an issue of blood, you cannot mingle with people. It did not count at that time, because she had suffered enough. So if your suffering is enough, please take that first step. Have faith in God. Be courageous enough and do the work. Take that action, and your faith will make you whole. Okay? Yes. It's the highest time that you be fearless and you create your own environment. The other person you're going to look at, they are the 4 lepers. This is a story that you have all heard. It's not a new story to us. And in the book of 2 Kings chapter 7, that's where we get the story of the 4 lepers. And we're going to read from verse 3. And the word of God says, "Now there were 4 men who were lepers at the entrance to the gate, and they said to one another, 'Why are we sitting here until we die? If we say, Let us enter the city, the famine in the city, and we shall die there. And if we sit here, we die also. So now, come, let us go over to the camp of the Syrians. If they spare our lives, we shall live. And if they kill us, we shall but die.' So they arose at twilight to go to the camp of the Syrians. But when they came to the edge of the camp of the Syrians, behold, there were no one there. For the Lord had made the army of the Syrian hear the sound of chariots and horses and sound of a great army, so that they said to one another, 'Behold, the king of Israel has hired against us, and the kings of Hittites and the king of Egypt to come against us.'" This is so interesting. You know what? These 4 lepers said, if we stay here, we are going to die. If we get to the camp, the famine there will kill us. If we go to the Assyrian, they might spare our lives or they might kill us. But they decided, we are not going to sit here and die, we are going to go. And that's what they did. And when they were going, even without them knowing, from the other side of the Syrian camp, they had a mighty army. They had the chariots of war. They had, and they said, that verse is saying that the Assyrians say that the king of Israel has hired kings to fight against us. But it was not so. God had magnified the steps of the 4 lepers. And the 4 lepers, when they went to the camp of the Syrians, they found no one there. And they were able to feed, and their lives, of course, nobody killed them because the Syrians had ran for their lives. And they were able even to feed the whole Israelites. And let me tell you what the word of God is saying, what I'm able to get here. One, these people they believed in themselves. Even though they were lepers and they were outcasts, they believed in them. Yes, you can be an outcast. People can be telling you are an outcast. Maybe the family that you come from, your background. Don't allow your background to follow you, to hinder you from embracing your greatness. Please take that step, take that action, move and go. God is waiting on you. The moment you start moving, then the heavens will open up for you, and the whole world will bow to you, and they will be asking, which mountain do you want us to move? And that mountain will move. But what you have to do, take that step, start that business, go back to school, whatever you have to do it. I know we are in this season of coronavirus, but let me tell you, your life is in your hands. Yeah, you are your own rescue. That is true. If these 4 lepers did not go, God would not have come and pushed them, go, go, go. No, but God looked at them. And when God was looking, he was really waiting for them to take. When they took that step without knowing, God magnified their steps. And from the other camp, from the other side, the enemy would heard that this is a great army who is coming to fight us. So please stop, get out of your own way. God is waiting on you. When you make that step and God comes, and things will start opening up for you.